first met Tammy actually in 1990. I was on the junior national team and she was part of the national program, and we were heading to Iowa on a camp, and it was my first time with the senior team. So that was my sort of first introduction to Tammy, and I remember she took me under her wing and just sort of showed me the ropes. And when we got back from Iowa, there was a snowstorm, and I got to spend a night in Bethune in Tammy's famous residence room, so I was told later on. So when I arrived at York, Tammy had already been there a couple years. She'd been already training with the national program, plus with the York team. The year I started, she was actually away training. They were at a World Cup and they were at a FISHU, so I didn't see Tammy too much. But when she came back for the indoor season, I got to know her a little bit better. And Tammy was always that contagious smile in the morning, and always a person that would say hello, make you feel welcome, and really show you the ropes if you needed anything. Tammy had an uncanny sense of where to be in front of the net and scored some timely goals, I can say, certainly for our team. Tammy also had the ability to elevate her game, and then the rest of us around would notice and feed off of her energy. She was certainly speedy down the wing, but it was those timely goals that certainly brought us championships, and her hard work. Tammy's greatest contribution to our team would have been her selfless play and her desire to win. Those were two, I would say, huge characteristics of Tammy's game. Her tenacity on the field. She would hunt down opponents in the defending end. She would steal that ball, and somehow she'd get into the circle and cross it, and the ball would end up in the net. And it wasn't for luck. It was a lot of hard work on Tammy's part. And without that hard work, I'm sure Tammy wouldn't have been as successful, but that ability to really dig deep was certainly ingrained in Tammy. We used to razz Tammy a lot about how much she cooled down, how much she warmed up, how many ice bags she used, how many ankle braces she would go through, and basically how many times she'd be at physio for shin splints. Tammy was fun to be around, and she could always take a good joke, but she certainly must have been had some stocks in ice bags and ankle braces, and had we known, we'd probably all be rich. And I would also probably say that those things should be inducted into the Hall of Fame along with Tammy. Maybe a little picture beside her with her ankle braces and her ice bags, because that's one thing certainly all her teammates remember her for. Tammy and I actually became roommates the year after I arrived at York, and we moved into an apartment just around the corner with a volleyball player from the men's team. We had a good time in the apartment. I can say we weren't the best of cooks, and we always tried really hard to come up with different dishes, but pasta seemed to be one of our mainstays. And in the mornings, Tammy and I would truckle down our stairs and sit in her little Hyundai Pony and wait for the glow plug and the choke to go in so we could drive to practice. We'd sit there for 10 minutes sometimes. It was minus 15, minus 20, and I'm sure we could have walked to practice faster since it was probably about a kilometer away. But those were the times spent that we talked about how we hated the cold, and we just sat there laughing at 6:30 in the morning because we were probably, somewhat lazy, but also it just seemed like the right thing to do was to drive to practice. Tammy was a 3-time CIAU, now U Sport All-Star, which is a huge accomplishment back then, with all the national team players from University of Toronto, UBC, UVic. So her skill was certainly not gone unnoticed. She was also a 3-time OUA All-Star, and with Tammy on our team, we had 2 championships, 2 silvers, and a bronze medal. And that doesn't even count playing indoor, where we won 3 more championships with Tammy on our team. So she was instrumental in our success, and I certainly know that we probably wouldn't have had all those championships without Tammy on our team. Tammy, I know I can say on behalf of myself and all the players that played with you, this is an honor that is certainly well deserved. Your time at York obviously did not go unnoticed. Your desire, dedication, to the program, to the sport, and to you just becoming a better player and an amazing person. This is an awesome afternoon for you, and I wish you all the best and congratulations. It's so well deserved.